all vegan recipes are designed for vegans. We all know that. Today's a perfect example of something that's really indulgent, really sweet, really delicious, and just so happens to be vegan. If you're curious to see what my creation is today, stick around to the end of the video. You won't regret it. Welcome back to the channel. This is Vegan Food at Home, aiming to bring you delicious recipes that you can master in your own home. Today's dish is influenced by one of our favourite places to travel, Indonesia. If you've travelled to Indonesia yourself, you may have come across a dessert called kelepon. Basically what this dessert is, it's a 5-ingredient sweet dessert made with sweet rice flour, and it just so happens to be vegan. Let's get stuck into this recipe and I'll show you how it's done. Your first step is to put a large pan of water onto the heat and boil it up. Step number 2, we're going to take this large bowl. I've already gone ahead and placed in my sticky rice flour. Sticky rice flour is slightly different to normal flour, where it comes from a different type of rice, the sticky rice. Sometimes it is labelled as glutinous rice flour. Don't get confused by this term. It is actually used just to label the type of flour that it is. It doesn't actually contain gluten. It's a little bit confusing. So just to clarify, glutinous rice flour or sticky rice flour, they're the same thing, does not contain gluten. It's just the way that they can explain the sticky substance of the flour. Into your sticky rice flour, just want you to place your coconut milk. Give this a really good shake before you place it in. I've already been shaking this beforehand. So we're gonna add the coconut milk into the mixture. Make sure your hands are nice and clean, and just want you to get your hand in there and just start bringing these together. Okay, now we're going to add the food coloring. Now I understand that food coloring isn't something that you want to put in your food all the time. This is a treat, this is an indulgent dish that I'm showing you today, and this is the traditional way that they do it. I picked this up in Indonesia, and it's a natural food colouring that comes from the PANDAN leaf. It's very sweet, so that goes really well with the sweetness of this dessert, and obviously the colour is quite a visual thing and makes it very, very traditional. I'm going to take a little bit of this mixture out and actually make some without this to show you guys how that's done, and I'll taste them and tell you exactly how they taste. I understand that food colouring, again, is not something that you want to put into your dishes, and you might struggle to find a natural pandan paste. So I'm going to add in a teaspoon of the pandan paste. Now, if you do get your hands on some of this stuff, just bear in mind it will stain your skin, it will stain your clothes. Just be really, really careful. Now this will take a moment just to mix in, and you can see it's already starting coming together. Grab a chopping board and start just kneading it with my hands. Now, because I've stirred that colouring in quite well, it shouldn't stain my hands too much. It will still stain them, but you just got to go through it really. If you want delicious treats, so just knead this till the colour's nice and consistent. Might take you a few minutes. Okay, wonderful. So I've just formed that into a ball and kind of squashed it down there. It's looking nice and green. And if you're used to making bread with regular flour or anything like that, you will feel this is a little bit different. It kind of breaks apart. So it's a bit of a pain, but it's fun. Nice stress reliever, always a good thing. I'll bring in the white one. What I'm going to do is show you how to form these into balls. So you want to take around a tablespoon, maybe a slightly more of the flour. Just squish it together. Keep squishing it between your hands. Squish, squish, squish. Then eventually it will come together, smooth out on the edges. And then once you have that, place that on your board. Do the next one. And these don't have to be perfect. For now, do them a bit rough. You'll know in just a second why. And I can already smell that delicious aroma of the pandan. It's really nice, really sweet. Definitely reminds you of Indonesia. They use it a lot in their desserts and in their main meals as well. It's just naturally sweet, really great. Once you've got your balls like this, make sure they're nice and firmly pulled together. Just push a little hole in, create a little dent. And what I want you to do, I've got a 1/4 teaspoon measure here. I'm not filling it right up. I'm just gonna dump that straight inside. And you'll see, if you can see, ooh, yeah, that's all inside. And what I want you to do is just close that up. So almost press all your fingers in. Make sure this doesn't leak out this bottom. So just be a bit gentle. Close up that hole, keep it gentle. And once you feel like that's closed on that side, just put your hand around, bit of pressure, spin it round, bit of pressure, and just keep doing that on each side. And then once you feel like that's nice and cased in, just cup your hands and gently roll this. Don't be too tough, just like this. Perfect. And then you're just left with that, and that is what we're going to boil later. Take less than 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. I'm actually using coconut sugar here. Traditionally, it's palm sugar. Perfect. You have 2 of those. I want you to do that with all the white, and then I want you to do exactly the same with all the green. And then once that's all ready, we're going to chuck them into the pot of water and then wait till they're cooked. Wonderful. So I've rolled all those into a ball. I've placed some sugar in each of the balls as well, and I'm going to boil these up. Let's see how it goes. Just be gentle, don't throw them in. I'm going to place on that lid. Whilst we've got those boiling up, I just wanted to take a moment to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There's lots of fun videos on my channel already, and I aim to bring you lots more in the future. Normally, I try and bring you nice, healthy, easy, quick recipes that you can have for breakfasts and lunches and that sort of thing. But today, I wanted to indulge, and let's be honest, we all like to indulge sometimes. Even if you do follow a healthy diet, I think it's also healthy to have treats and snacks and indulgence every now and then. It's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to remove the lid from the pan and see how they're getting on. One of them's just starting to float to the surface. Very nice. And give it 1 or 2 more minutes. I'm going to take the bowl that I used to mix everything around. I'm just going to scoop those in and just allow them to drain slightly. They look pretty good. Okay, that's perfect. I've got some desiccated coconut here. I'm going to be quite generous with that. Spread that around the base of the bowl. Once these are drained, they'll be nice and sticky on the outside. I'm going to tip those in here, and then I'm just going to, again, put a little bit more of the coconut on. I'm just going to throw those around. And you want a really good coating of the coconut. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It's time to plate. And then one final thing is just that coconut all over the top. I will admit that some of these ingredients are a little bit hard to find, but I did have them in my cupboard at home, so I thought I wanted to share this delicious recipe with you. I think there's only one more thing to do, and that's give these things a try. I'm going to start with one of the white balls just to let you know what that tastes like. Now, it has actually taken on a slight colour from the pandan paste, from the water. That's absolutely delicious. Nice and gooey in the centre. Really doughy ball. Now let's give a green one a try. I'm gonna break this open. Delicious. Nice and doughy, nice and sweet. Just perfect. These taste really great. If you can get your hands on some of these ingredients, make these. They are absolutely delicious. The great thing about the water that we boiled these in as well is you could actually use that to cook your rice later on for dinner, and that would give your rice a really nice, fragrant pandan flavour. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the red button down below, like my videos, leave a comment for me, and let me know what you think of my videos. I'll see you on the next one. Your first step is to put a saucepan onto the heat with a large... First step is to place a large pan of water onto the... Your first step is to put a large pan of water onto the heat. Your first step is to place a large saucepan of water onto your hob and get it nice and... Your first step is to get a large pan of water, put it onto the hob and boil the water away. Your first step is to put a large pan of water on a high heat, and you want that water. Your first step is to put a large pan of water onto the hob and boil the water. Your first step is to put a large pan of water onto the hob, and we want that water boiling before our mixture goes into the... Your first step is to put a large pan of water onto the hob on a... Your first step is to put a large pan of water onto the heat and boil it up.